Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. I am your host for tonight, Nick Walsh. That's right, you get a double dip of Walsh this week. We're a little short on the podcast roster, so I'm going double duty. But I'd like to introduce my co-host. He is the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and he's having a hard time holding those alligators down. That's right, he's the DON. He is Don Chrisman. How you doing tonight, Don?
Doing way better now after hearing that entrance.
Do you recognize that, dude? It's a good old Ric Flair promo there. That's what that is. I gave you high praise with the Ric Flair promo.
Woo!
There it is. There it is. So yeah, you got me and Don here with you this week. Vinny couldn't make it. Shrek is also doing something else. I'm not really sure. They're all kind of like preparing for the hurricane that's about to hit New Jersey, apparently. So I don't know.
Yeah, we are supposed to get one.
Yeah. So I mean, Vinny and Rogers particularly, they're right down there on the good old Jersey Shore. So you know, we're hoping for the best for them and hope everything's good. But in the meantime, you've got me and Don coming at you. If you missed it yesterday, Shrek and I did the week 3 review podcast. Check that out if you haven't listened to it yet. Also, by the time this is up, I'll have an article up on week 4 streamers. My week 3 streamers were absolutely terrible, but hopefully week 4 is a little better. So I think Don and I are basically just going to spend the next hour, maybe hour 15, drinking as many beers as we can and previewing the week 4 games. So you ready, Don?
Hold on, sorry, I was finishing my beer there.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful. That's what I wanted to hear. So I guess we'll just get right into it. So the first game, Thursday night game, is Baltimore at Pittsburgh. The big news, obviously, is that Ben Roethlisberger went down this past week. He's out at least 4 weeks, which is crazy because it looked like his leg just snapped in half when the injury happened. But anyway, we've got Michael Vick in at quarterback. Don, what do you think this means for the Steelers' offense this week?
I mean, I definitely think you downgraded it quite a bit. Vic's going to be a little scary. They believe in Vic, but putting Vic in there, he's obviously not going to put up Roethlisberger numbers. You never know because the past few times we've seen Vic, it's been kind of a train wreck. So any type of receiving is definitely going to downgrade. Maybe you'll see a lot more of the running game. So I'd be okay with like a Le'Veon Bell, but Vic itself throwing the ball is kind of scary.
Yeah, I think there are some people out there who, are trying to get cute and maybe stream Vic if you had Roethlisberger go down. Don't do it. We don't recommend it. Like you said, I think Bell's the play here. Brown, you're obviously still going to play. Is Heath Miller still in there for you this week? Are you okay with him?
I would try to stay away from Heath Miller. Heath Miller is more of like Roethlisberger's boy. And again, you don't know really what Vic's going to do. So even if like Heath Miller gets a few looks, I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular. So if you can find someone they could throw in there for the week, I would.
I think that's very fair. Let's move on to the Ravens side of the ball. Joe Flacco, I know you've dismissed him as not fantasy relevant. Do you think he's fantasy relevant in this game potentially?
You know, it's kind of funny because we're going to obviously hit Steve Smith as well. But looking at it, I mean, they both had a horrendous first week, and then the past 2 weeks they've actually been very fantasy relevant. I still don't buy into the nonsense. I'm going to stay away from Steve Smith and Joe Flacco. I think it's just a hot hand at the time, but I think it's definitely going to fade.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think this is something that's it's sort of, it's going to fade over time, but the matchup theoretically is very good this week, despite the fact that the Rams completely tanked it last week against them. Mm-hmm. So I think you can play Flacco if you're a little desperate at quarterback. I think Smith is a good play. What do you think about Forsett? He's been disappointing so far. Is this the week he gets it back on track?
I mean, if it's going to be the week, I mean, we said that last week too, though. You got to hope. I mean, you got to hope it's going to be against Pittsburgh. Again, you said this is the good matchups to go against. This is the week that Forsett would do it. If you could still sit him, I don't know. Once you're seeing the lousy play that he's had, I mean, he still hasn't even gotten a touchdown yet. If you can go with other options, I would. But again, if you're still kind of a Justin Forsett believer, Pittsburgh defense is the one that you can still believe against, and you could play him then.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with Forsett this week. As your RB2, maybe your flex. Running back's a little thin in general and a little weird to predict right now, which we'll get into as we continue the podcast. But then last thing I want to touch on in this game, Crockett Gilmore got hurt last week. Max Williams, who's the rookie tight end, he went in there and he actually put up some decent numbers. I'm looking for him right now. So Max Williams played about half the snaps last game, got 7 targets, 3 catches for 44 yards against this Steelers defense, which, like we said, isn't great against the pass. Do you have any inclination to play Max Williams this week?
No, I mean, again, you don't know what he's done yet. It's kind of like a tight end roulette. I don't know why you would just decide to pick up Max Williams when you really haven't seen much of him yet, and now he's only coming in because Crockett's out. So I would definitely stay away from that. Max Williams, again, you don't know anything yet, but hey, he might have a great game, and the next thing you know, he might be someone later on. But as of now, you don't try and go Max Williams on a tight end roulette.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think he's probably safe to stay away from this week. Potentially an interesting daily play just because he's going to be really cheap. But that's another topic entirely. So let's pick this one, Don. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Roethlisberger out. You got to go Baltimore.
I think I'm with you on that. I'm going to go Baltimore as well. Let's move on to the London game. So technically this is a home game for the Dolphins. It's Jets at Dolphins. But as we said, it's being played in London. Wake up early. It's a 9:30 Eastern time start, which means I'm going to be up at 6:30 Pacific time to watch football. And I know when they did this last year, some people complained about it. I thought it was awesome because we had football for literally 12 straight hours. I was like, this is pretty cool. But for fantasy purposes, it's not a great game. Right now, the Jets are a slight favorite with a 41-point over-under on the game. Chris Ivory is questionable. He was active last week but didn't actually play. Let's start with Ivory then. If he's active, do you trust him?
Yeah, I like Ivory. I think Ivory's gonna. They said he was limited at practice today, but I think he's gonna play. I think he's a running back that you kind of got to stick your guns to. He had a very nice week 1. Still didn't have an overall horrible week 2. So against Miami, being a divisional player in London, it's not really a home game advantage for Miami. I would still be okay with playing Chris Ivory. Okay. I wouldn't try with him just yet.
I think there's an argument to be made for that because if there's going to be rushing touchdowns, he will get them. I think I'd almost rather play Bilal Powell in a PPR league just because if the Jets get up big, then he's they won't want to risk Ivory salting out the clock or anything like that. They'll probably give it to Powell. He does catch those couple passes per game. He's not very good, but I think he's slightly safer than Ivory, and Ivory definitely has that upside with the touchdowns. Yeah. Again, this game doesn't have a ton to offer in terms of fantasy production. I think you're playing Brandon Marshall, obviously. He's been great so far. If you're a Marshall owner, good for you. It looks like Decker is going to be out again, most likely. He didn't practice today. So on the Dolphins side of the ball, I think you're playing Jarvis Landry. Are you willing to play Rashard Matthews at this point?
Yeah, I like Rashard Matthews. He came and saved me this. Well, he didn't save me, actually. I got crushed by Joe. But I sat Brent. But because of NFL.com, I did set Brandon Cooks, which I was really pissed off at the time. But looks like I threw in Rashard Matthews, and he had another big week. So that's 3 weeks in a row. So I don't know. I mean, listen, it could still be a hot hand early, but 3 weeks in a row like that, that's some – there is fantasy relevance for Rashard Matthews. So I like him. I'm good. I'm probably going to play him.
Yeah, I think you're right that he is fantasy relevant. I'm a little concerned because his snaps went down this week. He was playing about 75% snaps weeks 1 and 2. Did about 50% this week, but that might have just been because they got blown out. That being said, Devontae Parker has been increasing his role every single week. So I think Matthews' time is limited, and the time to play him is probably now. That being said, I don't really like the matchup against the Jets secondary, which is very, very good. I'd probably shy away, but I understand it if you want to play him. And then the rest of the guys, we've got Tannehill, we've got Lamar Miller, and we've got Jordan Cameron. Do you have any confidence in any of them?
I'd like to still believe in Tannehill. I think he's still a decent quarterback, but it's definitely been a rough start. As of Lamar Miller, I have no confidence in anymore. I have him in a league, and he's just going to sit on my bench right now. And kind of the same thing for Cameron. I had the same league that I have Miller, and I have Cameron. And it's kind of discouraging to see. I mean, already the pretty dramatic decline in his performance. But again, I'm a little bit more hopeful for Jordan Cameron because I want to be more hopeful for Ryan Tannehill. But as of Lamar Miller, I'm just you can let him sit on your bench.
Yeah, I'm with you on that this week. I think he was losing work to Jonas Gray last week, which is super discouraging. Tannehill, I'm not going to start this week. I think Tannehill is firmly back in the end of the streamers. I know I thought he was going to make that leap to being an every week starting quarterback. He clearly hasn't at this point. So he's a streamer for me. Cameron, I think you can probably still start. But it's a tough matchup for the whole team just because that Jets defense, despite the fact that they lost to Philly this week, is pretty good, particularly that pass defense. So let's pick this London game, Don. Who you got?
I'm going to say the Jets come back and they win their third game.
Yeah, I'm on the Jets too. In general, I feel like the Dolphins aren't doing as well as we all thought, particularly me. So Jets it is. All right, let's move back to America across the pond. We'll go straight to Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a very big favorite. I think they're like a 9-point favorite right now in this game. Yep. So it's nice to see that, despite their bad start, they're still getting the respect in that sense. Let's start with Jacksonville, though. Against this Indianapolis defense, which has been weak, do you consider Blake Bortles a potential streamer?
I think he's a potential streamer. Now that you're starting to get into week 4 of your league, you're even starting to see people start pick up their second quarterback, or if there's someone that that didn't work out for them, maybe a Tannehill or a Bradford that they're saying, let me decide to drop him, or now they're going to play a streamer. This isn't a bad week to play Bortles. Bortles has been okay, especially if you don't want to play maybe a Kaepernick, or again Bradford's been very, very underwhelming. And if you want to take a shot out at Bortles, I think this is the week you could do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Over the past 2 weeks, Bortles has put up 21 and 16 fantasy points. So that's not bad production from your quarterback. That's the kind of thing you can take. This is a defense where they're going to be down. They're probably going to have to throw it. And outside of Vontae Davis, they don't really have the cornerbacks to do anything about it. So, yeah, I'm on the Bortles train as well. I just mentioned Vontae Davis. It's likely that he's going to be covering Allen Robinson. How do you feel about Robinson this week? And then I guess in turn the other Jacksonville pass catchers, if you have anything to say about them.
I mean, Allen Robinson's he had a stud, second week he had a really great week.
Yes.
But week 1 was nothing, and last week really wasn't anything to be wowed about either. So if he's someone that you have to play, I don't think it's not like he's going to be stuck on Revis Island. Vontae Davis is still a very good corner, but we have seen weakness. You did see Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker kind of ruin him before he even got hurt. So he's not untouchable. He is still very good, but if you have an Allen Robinson and you kind of don't really have a stronger receiver core, I don't think you are 100% scared about it. But again, if you have better options where Allen Robinson's maybe your third and you've got maybe like a Vincent Jackson or someone else, I would play them over him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Robinson is probably a guy who, if you have other options on your team, you should look to bench this week. He's not the worst start you can make, but it's certainly not a good matchup for him. I actually really like Allen Hurns this week. I think he's probably a better play than Robinson, just because the rest of the Colts secondary sucks really bad, and they're going to have to throw it to someone because they're going to probably be down.
Yeah, I actually got my recruitment letter to join the Indy D to possibly try out for one of their cornerbacks.
That would probably be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me if you were out there on Sunday just playing cornerback for the Colts. But
After
anyway,
the first play, though, I would tell him I got to walk back to the huddle, please.
Go, coach, take me out for a play. I gotta rest. But anyway, the other player on the Jags we got to talk about is TJ Yeldon. What do you think this week?
I'm still letting him serenade on the bench. I still really like TJ Yeldon, but I mean, no one has seen anything too crazy out of him. I think, the best week he had was week 2 where, he put up like 83 all-purpose yards, and that's pretty good, but, it's nothing where you're like, wow, I just want to throw TJ Yeldon in my flex. He does have a few nice matchups coming up next with Indy and Tampa Bay. So you should probably not start him, though. I think you could still let him sit on the bench. I think, again, he's going to be in the second half of the season. You're going to really like TJ Yeldon. But for me, I have him all in most of my leagues, and he's still just sitting on my bench, just ready to get up there soon in a few weeks.
Sorry, you broke up for me for a couple of minutes. That might have been on my end, but I think the point that I heard was that you should probably sit TJ Yeldon this week if you can.
Yeah. Short story short, or long story short, sit Yeldon still, but be looking to play him soon.
I think that's very fair. I agree with you. The game script's just not going to be in Yeldon's favor. So, we'll go from there. On the Indy side, you're starting Andrew Luck. I think you're starting Hilton. You're starting Moncrief. What do you think about Gore this week?
I play him. I definitely play him against Jacksonville. You kind of got a little you saw a little bit of light last week with Gore. So maybe one that sparks a little bit of fire in his ass. As well as, I mean, you're not going to really ask for too much better of a matchup than when you're going to be able to go to Jacksonville. It's a good time for Indy as a whole to pick up their spirits and hopefully beat up on Jacksonville, even though they've been a better Jacksonville. But this is the time to do it. You definitely play Frank Gore though this week.
Yeah, agreed. I think Gore looked a lot better last week, and this is a great matchup for him. It's possible that they don't give him a full workload just because they have Josh Robinson. They've been trying to save Gore, but he's still a great matchup this week. And then the last guy with the Colts we got to touch on is Kobe Fleener. He looked pretty good last week in the absence of Dwayne Allen. This week, are you willing to roll him out there? I think I am.
That's someone on the tight end roulette that I'd be okay with playing. Obviously, the chemistry with Andrew Luck with Fleener. And then he always does look for Fleener, especially when Dwayne Allen is out. So I think that's someone, if you're going to play the tight end roulette, why not do it with Kobe Fleener against Jacksonville?
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to take Indy in this game. Who you got?
Indy has to win, so I'll sweep them.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to Houston at Atlanta. Atlanta put up a whole bunch of points last week. Houston got their first win against the lowly Buccaneers. So Atlanta's at home. They're a pretty big favorite. We'll start on the Houston side. Arian Foster is a game-time decision. Do you trust anyone in that backfield, whether or not he plays?
No. Blue was not good at all this season until last week. That's just one game. I don't trust in Blue. I don't trust in that backfield, not until Foster comes back and is healthy and ready to play, take on that workload. I still stay away from it.
I'm right there with you. The game script was perfect for Blue, and the Bucs defense is bad. Don't trust him this week. If Foster plays, don't trust him either because we haven't seen anything from him yet. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously you're playing. Is there anyone else on the Texans that you want to talk about?
No. Not
All
really.
right. On the Atlanta side of the ball, I would assume you're playing Matt Ryan. He's in a good matchup here again. Let's go right to the running backs. Tevin Coleman is still not practicing. Devontae Freeman went nuts last week. Are you buying into Devontae Freeman?
Not as necessarily buying into it, but I mean, I think the opportunity is there for him, especially with Coleman being out. He did go nuts though. That 200, almost 200 all-purpose yards against Dallas last week. So I mean,
Yeah.
listen, if you have Devontae Freeman, he's obviously going to be the starting back. So that's a one back right there. So I would play him this week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Temper your expectations from last week. He's probably not going to do that again,
No.
but he's a worthwhile start because the Falcons have shown a commitment to really feeding their running backs the ball this year. Outside of that, we've got Julio, who is an obvious play. Roddy White got his second straight week of having no targets, and I'm not willing to play Leonard Hankerson. You got any disagreements there?
No, I said that last week too with Leonard Hankerson. That's somebody you just got to stay away from. And then Roddy White, I mean, there's no reason. I wouldn't even have a sporting any type of stats for Roddy White to be able to be played. So, no.
No, I think you can probably drop Roddy White at this point.
I have in a league, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 straight weeks no targets is not a good thing. So let's pick this one. I'm going to take Atlanta.
I'm going to oddball it in. No, I can't. I'm going to go Atlanta. I just went against Houston on everything, so I can't pick Houston.
Fair enough. I like it. We'll stay sort of in the NFC South. Go over to Tampa Bay. We have Carolina facing Tampa Bay this week. We'll start with Cam. Cam's been super Cam for the past 2 weeks. Do you think it continues this week?
Yeah, against Tampa Bay, definitely. You play Cam for sure this week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. I think Cam is a necessary start. The Tampa Bay defense is bad, and he should do very, very well. Along with that, I think Greg Olsen is a must start. And then there's 2 guys I want to talk about who are kind of on the fence. We'll start with Jonathan Stewart. He's been extremely underwhelming this year. If you're a Stewart owner, are you still rolling with him?
If I'm a Jonathan Stewart owner, this is my make or break week. I'm gonna play him another week. It's gonna be my like I said, make or break. It's play him, see how he does. It's Tampa Bay. If he doesn't do it against Tampa Bay, then you know that it's time to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Stewart's just been very inefficient so far. He's gotten touches too, which is kind of the frustrating part, is that he's gotten the work. He's not getting the goal line work or the passing work though that we thought. Mm-hmm. So with the fact that the running back position is so weird, as we alluded to earlier, I think Stewart's a play this week, but he has a very short leash. And then the other guy who I wanted to talk about real quick, because I think he's kind of interesting, is Ted Ginn. Over the past 2 weeks, Ted Ginn has had 16 targets, 8 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown, which isn't that bad. If you're a little desperate, maybe you've got some injuries at wide receiver, are you willing to go with Ted Ginn?
Ted Ginn is like one of those players that will go off for 2-3 weeks pulling Eddie Royal, and then you never see him again. But again, who else is there really their receiving options? That Devin Funchess isn't what everyone kind of hoped him to be. You obviously have Greg Olsen, but I mean, receiving wise, Ted Ginn, he could be an option for Cam that Cam might start looking for, especially after the last 2 weeks that he's had. So against Tampa Bay, if you have Ted Ginn and you're maybe you're one of those people that have all Patriots players, and they're all on the bye, and you just need to throw a receiver in there against Tampa Bay, why not? But be wary. Ted Ginn isn't someone that's a consistent fantasy producer.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's an okay bye week throw in where you just kind of do like the what the hell, and have a guy in your flex or whatever. Obviously not a recommended play, but someone who's a little intriguing. So I wanted to bring him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from there, we'll go over to Tampa Bay. I don't think this is a week that you want to stream Jameis. I don't think you ever want to start Doug Martin if you can avoid it. So the two guys that we're going to talk about are Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson. Do you trust either one of them this week?
I like Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a pretty good week last week. I mean, if you throw a touchdown in there, he had a really nice week. So I like Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans should be back to, I would assume, almost 100% health. So I think this would be a good week. And Carolina Panthers D is tough. So that's where you might Vincent Jackson might go down a little bit. But as of Mike Evans, I think he's still you have to play him. If you caught that, Washington.
I think you're right on there with Mike Evans. The Panthers' pass defense is a little tough. Josh Norman is kind of become a shutdown cornerback very quietly, but Mike Evans is a nice play. Jackson is kind of in the same realm as Ted Ginn for me.
Yeah.
Where I don't really want to, but like you could.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting little dynamic there. We'll see how it plays out. Let's pick this one. I'm going to take the Panthers.
Yeah. We've been sweeping a lot, but I'm going to keep the broom out. Let's keep the broom out and do another sweep. Keep the broom out. We're doing another sweep. No, it's all right.
Okay.
We're going to go Carolina.
No, sorry. My computer keeps breaking up. My internet's been being a dick all day. So
Walsh, didn't you learn like when you were like 16, like stop looking up like porn on LimeWire and just use your phone, man. Use your phone. And it looks like we might be still having a little bit of technical difficulties here with Sir Walsh. So I'm going to just sing you all a nice song. Walsh, I'm here without you, but you're still on my lonely mind. For all you listeners out there, if you can guess the song I was just singing, you will be the second winner of all time of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. And you will win free podcast by us. And we are still out with Walsh. Looks like Shrek's going to have to cut a little bit here. Oh. Your eyes are moving, but you're not talking.
Yo, are we like good now? Sorry.
Nah, we are good.
Huh?
We're good.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm gonna tell Shrek that I'm hoping this is like it says it's still live, so I'm just gonna tell him to like edit out a big ass part in the middle of it.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to cut a little bit. It's all right. It stayed live the whole time.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good, I guess.
I even sang because I was trying to.
Yeah, I was getting like bits and pieces of just like you singing, and I was like, oh no, this is so bad. Not the you singing thing, just like I couldn't
No,
do it.
it is bad. I was like, I'm just gonna sing.
Solid strategy. All right. So where do we left off with Evans and Jackson, right? Or
Yeah,
no, we left off
we
with Carol.
I swept them, so we're just about to go on to New York and Buffalo.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna start with that then.
That's fine.
All right, so let's move on to the Giants at Buffalo Bills game. This is an interesting one because the Bills have been so good. The Giants' pass defense has been pretty bad. So my first question, and this is kind of weird to ask, but are there any plays for the Giants this week outside of Odell Beckham?
That's a good question. I have Victor Cruz on my bench, and I just like kind of want to. I just kind of want to so bad, but no.
Don, you know that's a bad idea.
That is such a bad idea, especially against Buffalo. If you guys are as tempted as my dumbass is to play Victor Cruz, if anything's gonna stop you from doing so, they're playing against the Buffalo defense, and they're pretty good. So the only safe bet really is to go Odell Beckham. Ruben Randall's not even a safe bet at all. So the only person I would play receiving wise is Odell, who is a must start. Washy. And we are back to some technical difficulties here. I would sing again, but obviously that's not going to do much.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Oh, he's back.
No, I got to go check my internet because something's fucked up here.
All right.
Are you streaming something by chance? No. No? Fuck. The internet's just fucking up really bad.
I'm not on mute, so
No? God,
it should be clear.
it sucks. All right. I don't know what the issue is, but I guess we should just proceed and hope it works out.
As we proceed.
Should I start hold on. I'm just gonna start off with the Giants again, if that's or that game again, if that works.
That's cool.
Okay. Sorry, dude. All right.
No, don't worry about it, dude.
All right, so we're going to move on to the New York Giants at the Buffalo Bills. This is an interesting game for a couple of reasons. The Bills have been very, very good. So with that in mind, I think the first question is, Odell Beckham, are there any plays that you like for the Giants this week?
Yeah, no. Like I was saying earlier to you, I really want to play Victor Cruz. He's on my bench, but that would be stupid. Buffalo's defense is very good, and Victor Cruz is just coming back from a really bad injury, so that's not someone where he's just going to go off. Ruben Randall, I don't even play. Again, Buffalo's defense is just very strong, so you only play your must start, who is Odell Beckham.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Randall, to me, is a mildly intriguing daily fantasy play just because he's super cheap in tournaments. But outside of that, yeah, there's nothing for me. On the Buffalo side, I think we're at the point in the season where Tyrod Taylor is just a starter. Like, he's not a streamer anymore. Am I wrong on that?
Am I wrong, or did I read it as it's Ty God as a starter?
Yeah, that's what I wrote in our notes. Ty God.
We're referring to him as Ty God.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I would definitely start Ty God over or over Kaepernick. So yeah, why not Tyrod Taylor? I think a lot of people, even at work, like I was listening to one of my employees and he said he picked up Tyrod Taylor for this week. So I think everyone's starting to pay attention to Tyrod Taylor. He's been consistent fantasy wise every week. I mean, even his first week, he was not bad numbers. So why not? Why not go Tyrod Taylor if you're hurting at the quarterback position, you want someone you can even upgrade. I mean, go Tyrod.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. I think if I had to choose to start one quarterback in this game, it would be Tyrod, dude. I mean, like you're gonna start Eli over him? I don't think so.
Oh, Tyrod.
So we've established that he's spectacular. So Carlos Williams, it looks like LaShawn McCoy is going to sit, according to what Rex Ryan said today. I think Carlos Williams is a plug-and-play RB2. What do you think, Don?
No, definitely. Especially if LaShawn is out. Carlos Williams is someone that I would definitely play. If he was on my bench, I'm definitely going to. If you have a good running back crew, I would still throw him as a flex over some receivers. If you're hurting on running backs, feel good. If you have Carlos Williams on your bench, definitely play him.
Yeah, absolutely. He is very good, as it turns out. And then the pass catchers in Buffalo, it looks like Watkins is going to sit after injuring himself in week 3. Is there anyone out there in this group of pass catchers that you're okay with?
Dare I say Percy Harvin?
No, I think you can dare do that. I think that's acceptable.
I think I dare say Percy Harvin. I think Percy Harvin wouldn't be a bad bet, actually. So if the week you're going to do it, why not throw Percy Harvin out? Sammy Watkins out. New York Giants defense not looking, anything that would scare you to play anyone. So Percy Harvin, why not? Throw him in there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Harvin's a good play this week. And I really like Charles Clay as a tight end streamer this week as well. He seems like he's developed a nice role in this offense. He's got good chemistry with Tyrod Taylor. And with Sammy Watkins out, I think Clay becomes one of the top targets, if not the top target in this offense. So I guess with that said, sorry, go ahead, Don.
And that just comes off he's had 2 weeks in a row with the touchdown. So
yeah, absolutely. So let's pick this one. Who are you thinking here?
Man, I actually excited to watch this game. I want to see. I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon here and all praise Tyrod.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's go Bills. Let's go Tyrod, and we'll sweep that one and move on to the best game of the week. Woo! Yeah, I'm of course talking about the Oakland Raiders at the Chicago Bears. Going to be a great game, just quality football on all sides. But basically Chicago's looked terrible and Oakland has looked kind of good. So what I wrote in the notes here was, are you willing to start all of your Raiders? And I think I am. What do you think, Don?
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good. I mean, Oakland actually, besides what the horrible first week, I mean, are they now? They're 2-1, right?
They are 2-1.
That's exciting. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, why not? Latavius Murray is obviously a must play. You're gonna play Amari Cooper, even Derek Carr. I mean, you're gonna be looking to stream him, especially with the way quarterbacks have been looking now. If you had that dud, Derek Carr, man, he's had 2 good weeks. So going against a really bad Chicago team, why not? You got to play the Raiders, man. That's it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Carr to me is a very high floor streamer. And I'd also like to add in that Michael Crabtree has had no less than 8 targets in any game this year. He was a little disappointing this past week because he only caught 3 of his 9 targets. But I think Crabtree's probably a viable start if you're a little desperate at wide receiver too. I would put him in that same vein as maybe a Percy Harvin this week. So basically play your Raiders. And then on the opposite side of the ball, what Bears are you willing to play this week?
Well, they did upgrade in quarterbacks, so If you're gonna play any quarterbacks, it's Jimmy Clausen.
Unbelievable. Jesus. You hate Jay Cutler.
Yeah, there's nothing to like about the guy. He couldn't even.
I disagree, but
He couldn't even sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" like a true American.
whatever, man. Jay Cutler's not as bad of a person as you make him out to be. But
No, he's not. He's a horrible person.
Fine, Don. Fine.
You almost made me spit
you
up
willing-
my beer.
Sorry, I apologize. Are you willing to play Forte and Bennett this week?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Forte. Forte's like the number 2 rusher in the league right now. You got to play Forte. As of Martellus Bennett, this is a time that you could possibly stream for a tight end roulette and go for like that Charles Clay that you're talking about. So Martellus Bennett has been underwhelming. Obviously, first of all, because Cutler sucks. Second of all, Cutler's a bitch, and now he's hurt. So now you gotta wait for a slightly better Jimmy Clausen. But this is the week if you want to do tight end roulette for Chicago. Why not?
I see where you're coming from, but tight ends have been so good against the Raiders. I think I would be playing Bennett. I mean, Gary Barnidge put up like a $105 and a touchdown last week on the Raiders. So I think until we're proven otherwise, you got to play tight ends against the Raiders. So I'm on Bennett this week. Forte, I agree with you. I think that's good. And then outside of that, Clausen is an extremely deep league streamer at the most. Just because the Raiders have given up a lot of points to quarterbacks as well this year.
And he's better than Cutler.
I'm never going to give you that. It's not true. But anyway, let's pick this one. I'm obviously picking the Raiders.
I'll die before I ever pick Chicago.
All right. So we got. I think we've swept all of them so far.
No, we I differed in no, we might have swept them all.
Yeah, I think we have.
There's a massive broom in my room right now. Just keep sweeping.
Just sweeping everything, dude. So let's move on to Philadelphia, Washington. On the Philly side of the ball, it looks like DeMarco Murray is going to be back. Do you trust anyone in the running game?
If any of them, I think Sproles. But I don't play DeMarco Murray. I don't play Ryan Matthews. You don't really know what's going on in that offense. If I had to pick a running back, I would pick Darren Sproles.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't want to play any of them though. I really don't. I don't think I want to play anyone on the entire Philadelphia team besides Jordan Matthews. Do you? Yeah, you're okay with that?
My beloved Sam Bradford is not as beloved anymore.
Yeah, even in a week where they did very well, it was because they ran the ball effectively. It wasn't Sam Bradford passing the ball. So if you went with Sam Bradford early on, you got to jump off that train. On the Washington side of the ball, their two consistent options have been Jordan Reed and Pierre Garçon. I think you like both of them this week. What do you think, Don?
Agreed, absolutely.
So I mean, they're both. I particularly Garçon for me. Byron Maxwell has been pretty bad, so I like Garçon a lot this week. Washington backfield is weird. Are you willing to start Matt Jones, Alfred Morris, Chris Thompson? I don't know.
No, not Thompson. I really, really likes Alfred Morris. Matt Jones had a great second week, but then showed his true colors again for week 3. The only one that I would stick to my guns on is Alfred Morris. Matt Jones is, you don't know what's going to happen, and Alfred Morris is very underwhelming. He had a good first week and a very meh second week and really digressed third week. But if I'm going to put any of my time into any of them, it's still going to be Alfred Morris. He's still a strong runner. He's had a very good few years, so Alfred Morris is the only one that I would play.
Okay, I think that's fair. I don't want to play any of them. If I did, it would be Matt Jones. He was like a foot from a touchdown last week, and it turned into a fumble, so I think that's weighing on people's minds a little bit. But again, I try not to play any of them if I can. So this is an interesting one too. Let's pick this one. Who you got, Don?
Gonna HTTR it. Hail to the Redskins.
All right. I'm gonna go Philly to get our first split of the day, and because I think Philly's a little better than they've shown so far. So moving on to Kansas City at Cincinnati, the battle of Shrek versus Vinny. On Kansas City's side, I think it's pretty easy. It's the same guys you're starting every week, which are Charles Kelsey and Macklin. Do you have any disagreements there, Don?
No. You know what? Macklin. I do have a disagreement with Macklin.
You don't want to start Macklin?
I'm still not all about Macklin. And that's not that I don't think he's a good receiver. No, I would probably still go elsewhere.
So what level are we talking here? Like, if you had a choice between Percy Harvin and Macklin, who would you be going with?
This week, I'd probably go for Percy Harvin.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
I think I'd go Macklin in that situation, but I see where you're coming from. Kansas City doesn't, or the Cincinnati defense is pretty good, and they don't necessarily always get the ball to him. On the Cincinnati side of the ball, I wrote down in our notes, start all aspects of the Bengals pass game. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers picked apart the Kansas City secondary this past week. And it wasn't just, Aaron Rodgers is great, but it wasn't just because Aaron Rodgers is great. The Kansas City secondary is very bad. So I like AJ Green. I like Marvin Jones. I like Tyler Eifert a little bit less, but I like everything in the Cincinnati pass game. I even like Andy Dalton. I think he's a nice start this week too. What do you think, Don?
Oh, you said that very nicely. I like them all. And as you could have seen, their secondary is bad.
Yeah, really extremely bad. Yeah. So then in the run game, Hill or Gio, do you want either of them? And if so, which one?
Like I was telling you earlier, Jeremy Hill's one of the people I was not as high on. Not saying that the talent's not there, or he could still have a good year. But if I had to choose between the two right now, I'd probably play Gio just for the fact of him being more of a pass threat. You're already talking about how their pass game is going to be good. They did have Kansas City does have a good defensive front and can stop the run game. So I would kind of stay away from Jerry Miller. I would probably rather play Gio Bernard this week.
I think I'm with you there. Gio's basically shown himself to be the more productive of the two through the first 3 weeks. I wouldn't love playing Gio, but I'd rather play Gio out of the two of them. I'm going to take the Bengals in this game. Who do you want?
You know what? Kansas City's pretty pissed off for the spanking that they got from Green Bay. So let's go Kansas City. Well, and
internet is being really shitty right now.
Can you catch me now?
Yeah, I got you. But you said you were picking the Chiefs, right?
Yes, Kansas City.
All right. So let's move on there. We've got Cleveland at San Diego. Both of these teams are teams that have very bad run defenses and okay pass defenses. On the Cleveland side of the ball, do you want to start anyone? Because I don't think I do.
Johnny Money. Yeah, did you actually see that the teammates are now wanting Johnny Manziel to be the starter? Think they're going to try to pull a Rudy and throw all their jerseys on the desk till Johnny Manziel decides to play, or coach decides to play Johnny Manziel.
That would be nice. I would enjoy that, but
that would be hysterical. I'm kind of intrigued by Travis Benjamin. He's had a touchdown in every game. I would play Travis Benjamin in a flex and feel okay about it against San Diego. So I'll play. I would say Travis Benjamin is not a bad option for Cleveland. That was a very loud sigh. Walsh. Yo.
Yo, fuck, dude, this sucks. I'm really sorry. Um, you were saying though, Travis Benjamin, you like?
Yeah.
I think if I could play anyone, I would play Isaiah Crowell on Cleveland, but I don't want to play anyone.
Fair enough.
On the San Diego side of the ball, we've got Philip Rivers is an obvious play this week against the Browns at home. This feels like a Melvin Gordon week to me. What do you think about that?
I like that. I'm still a Melvin Gordon believer. I'm going to play Melvin Gordon, and I'm thinking that he's going to have a good game against Cleveland. So, yeah, this is Melvin Gordon's week. So I think he's going to get in the end zone this week, and I think he's just going to give a little love to all the believers for Melvin Gordon this week.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think if he's going to break out in the NFL, this is the week he's going to do it. It lines up perfectly for him, and he's a great play. So then on the San Diego side as well, we've seen their pass catchers kind of vary week to week. Which ones do you trust this week, and how would you rank them?
I'm going to still throw Keenan Allen as number one. He did disappear week 2 and then just shot right back up for week 3. So Keenan Allen is still that number one target. Stevie Johnson, I still like Stevie Johnson. I think Stevie Johnson again is that veteran receiver over there. Now is he worth playing though? That's a whole nother ballpark to be reaching out to. Again, if you're someone that it has a whole lot of Patriots. If you're one of those people that went and have Julian Edelman and everyone else, and you need to throw someone in flex, I think this is a good week. You could probably throw Stevie Johnson if you really don't have anyone else, or you have a little bit of a weaker bench. Ladarius Green, do we know his status right now with his concussion?
He's been practicing this week, but he's been limited.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably shy away from Ladarius Green in that sense then. That's the time that you play the tight end roulette. But what about you? What do you think about the pass catchers for them this week?
I'm pretty much with you. I think Keenan Allen's a good play. Stevie Johnson is probably a good play as well, but I'm not terribly, terribly confident about it. Yeah, I don't really want Ladarius Green unless he's, completely healthy. But, I think the biggest thing from this game is basically Melvin Gordon. You should be playing Melvin Gordon. So with that being said, I'm going to pick the Chargers. Are you bolting up again?
I'll always bolt up, except against Green Bay.
Fair enough, Don. Fair enough. Speaking of Green Bay, what a transition, dude. We're going right to Green Bay at San Francisco.
Oh, my God.
You're like the king of segues. So anyway, in this Green Bay game, you should probably be using all of your Packers. Devontae Adams isn't going to play, it seems like. So James Jones is a great play. Randall Cobb is obviously a start. Aaron Rodgers is obviously a start. Lacey, it seems like he's going to be back to full strength, so you should be playing Lacey. Any interest in Ty Montgomery as like a why the hell not in this game that they're probably going to be able to pass all over the Niners?
I'm glad you brought that up. I like Ty Montgomery. I think he kind of now has separated himself from Jeff Janis a little bit, even though you've seen Jeff Janis out there. But Ty Montgomery might be, especially with Devontae Adams now being, hurt, that might be that guy that you silently start to see kind of creep up and kind of see it. Because Aaron Rodgers does like to link up with those young guys and kind of develop them. So Ty Montgomery might be someone that Aaron Rodgers might start to really enjoy throwing to. So I don't know about this week. He did have a touchdown last week, but I mean, he only caught 2 passes. But I would say away from that just yet, but look out for him. And if you could kind of pick him up, why not? But again, you're really looking to play obviously Rodgers, Cobb, James Jones. That's right, Vinny, James Jones. And obviously, Eddie Lacy as well. So you got to play them.
Yeah, I think he said the Montgomery thing very well, so I'm going to leave it at that and move on. On the San Francisco side of the ball, Cap has given you guys trouble in the past. Are you like intrigued by Cap at all this week, or?
No, maybe it's a little Packers favoritism too, but no. Cap has looked really bad. Yes, historically he hasn't been able to run, but a lot of people have been able to run on Packers. I mean, they don't have the best rush defense, but Cap looks bad. He looks out of whack, and Packers just came off a nice big win. They're 3-0, looking to be 4-0, and not to say that their defense is great, but I think you don't pick up Kaepernick this week. You go for like a Derek Carr or something. You stay away from Cap for now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think there are better options than Cap. And to be honest, I don't want to play any 49ers. I know Hyde is a guy that a lot of people have to play, but it seems like the game script is going to just kind of write him out of this one. So I don't like him. I think there are better options. I would rather probably play Jonathan Stewart than Carlos Hyde. And I don't like any other San Francisco pass catchers. What do you think about those guys, Don?
No, that's very fair. I might not be as against Carlos Hyde as you are, again, because Packers, they can get run on. So Carlos Hyde could have, a decent game. But if you decide to not play, well, if you have Carlos Hyde, it's probably you need to play him. So play him. Don't be too scared about it. I think Carlos Hyde will be okay. Other than that, you don't really want to play anyone else from San Francisco. There's no one worth playing.
All right, let's pick this one. Who do you got, Don? It's a toss up, right?
Yeah, it's a big one. I don't even really watch either of those teams, but go Pack Go.
Yeah, it's the Packers all the way here. That's a pretty easy sweep for us. So let's go. We'll stay in the NFC North. We'll go to Minnesota at Denver. On the Minnesota side, you're using AP because it's not an ideal matchup, but he's AP. Outside of that, do you like anyone on the Minnesota side of the ball?
Not really. I wouldn't even play Kyle Rudolph. I'll tell you what, Denver's defense looks so good. They look really good. The only person I'm looking to play is just AP. I'm not even looking to play Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Rudolph's a deep tight end roulette guy for me, but very deep tight end roulette we're talking.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Denver.
Yeah.
I think we're okay to play Peyton, right? We're back on Peyton?
I'm back to playing Peyton. Yeah, I don't think he's going to put up monster numbers like he did last year, but if he can get me a solid 18 to 22 points a week, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it seems like they've come into a rhythm. They've let Peyton work out of the shotgun a little bit more, so That is good. We like that. And in turn, I think Sanders and Demaryius are obvious plays.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Daniels got a touchdown last week. Are you tempted to go to him at all?
No, not really. It's nice that he got a touchdown, but I mean, the most yardage he's had in 3 games was 28 yards, which was last week, and a touchdown. So he's very, 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 very going to be hit or miss with getting touchdowns, and even if he doesn't, he's not going to be putting up a lot of yards. So no, I still stay away from Owen Daniels.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Any love for anyone in the Denver run game?
No, I'm staying away from that, to be honest. Who knows what's going on with C.J. Anderson? Who knows what the deal is with Ronnie Hillman? I'm going to not opt for any of their running backs right now.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. There are better plays out there, so probably stay away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna take Denver.
Yeah, you gotta go Denver. Bring that big old broom out and sweep them again.
Oh yeah, baby. This is another one I think will probably be a pretty easy sweep. But we got St. Louis at Arizona. After last week, I don't normally hold grudges, but holy shit, man! I pride myself on being a pretty good streamer, and my top 2 recommendations were Nick Foles and Jared Cook. And man, I was so wrong, and I'm still angry about it. If you can't tell, which I'm sure you can. But
you don't really sound that upset.
I'm pretty upset.
I don't blame you with the Nick Foles thing, saying he was a good streamer. Unfortunately, went the wrong way, but you obviously don't want to stream him against Arizona this week.
Oh no. I don't think you should be playing any Rams this week. That includes anyone in their backfield. Todd Gurley is not clearly the number one back yet. Do you want any Rams?
Do I have any Rams? No, I don't. Interesting. I'm still, again, just very interested to see what they're doing with Todd Gurley. I still think it's still too soon, but it looks like they're eager to play him. He's not going to be someone you obviously play this week against Arizona, but they're ready to play the guy. But no one this week for St. Louis. You hear me, Walsh?
Are we? Yeah. Sorry. So then moving on to the Arizona side of the ball. Carson Palmer's obviously been great this season so far. I think you need to keep playing him. You should probably lower any expectations a little bit, just because the St. Louis defense is pretty good. I think you still have to play Fitz. So what do you think about those two? And then I'll add this on as well. It looks like Andre Ellington should be back. Are there any running backs that you want this week?
Well, sorry, I just keep thinking about. Well, we got a fire alarm going off.
Do you need
to evacuate your building?
No, it's the smoke alarm in my apartment, and I'm hoping my roommate turns it off because that is really poor timing. But well, you know what? Let's
well,
hold on. Let's call this for a second. I'll tell Shrek to edit this. Oh wait, it's gone.
Shrek's gonna be on this thing for like 3 hours just trying to edit it.
Yeah, no, Shrek's still gonna have to edit that. Let me take a piss real quick and then I'll be back, dude. Sorry, this sucks. I really apologize. No, it's all good. Which one was that?
It was one in my room.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the hallway one's been unplugged for like a year and a half.
Right.
Jeez. Sorry, dude. We're having all kinds of issues on my end tonight.
Sorry, man. I wish I could be a fly on wall for Shrek trying to edit this.
Dude, I'm gonna go through and like listen to it and just be like, is it happening again? Something's in my apartment. God damn it. All right, so we're on
Arizona.
All right, so I'm just going to start over with Arizona. So on the Arizona side of the ball, if you've been riding Carson Palmer, you should probably keep doing that. Temper your expectations because St. Louis is pretty good. But definitely Carson Palmer's a worthwhile start. I think the same goes for Larry Fitzgerald, where you have to keep starting him. Don, what do you think about the running backs in the Arizona backfield?
You know, regression is so fucking real, Walsh.
So I knew you were going to bring that. This is the start of it with Carson Palmer, dude. It is. It's this week.
Whenever I just even think of St. Louis, I just think of that quote.
Oh yeah, man, because regression is extremely fucking real. But
Actually, it's this running game for Arizona is interesting. Chris Johnson is playable. Is that like real life?
it might be.
I picked up Chris Johnson on the waivers, and I absolutely despise CJ2K, and someone even offered to trade me for him, and that's crazy. The guy went off for 110 rushing yards and 40 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. That's crazy. And then he had 72 yards the week before. So St. Louis he's not going to do that against St. Louis though. St. Louis has a much better defense than Chicago or San Francisco, but it looks like Chris Johnson is going to have that starting role. So, Chris Johnson is someone, if you have to play him, I mean, might as well, but don't expect what he did last week against St. Louis.
Yeah, I agree that Chris Johnson's probably the play if there are any. I'm kind of off the Arizona running back, this week. Just in general, I want to see how it plays out a little bit with Andre Ellington potentially being back. But yeah, I think Arizona in general is they're looking like a great team, and you need to kind of keep going with that.
Yeah.
So let's pick this one too. I said it's probably going to be pretty easy. I'm taking Arizona.
Yeah, you have to go Arizona. They're scary this year. They're real scary. So you have to go Arizona, and not play Nick Foles or Jared Cook.
Yeah, good call on that one, Don. You're a genius. So let's move on to the Cowboys at the Saints. We've reached.
I've never had so many compliments in my life before.
Yeah, I'm a complimentary guy. But anyway.
Oh, back to the Dallas New Orleans.
Yeah, Cowboys at Saints. That's the Sunday night game this week. Way shittier Sunday night game than I'm sure the NFL expected going into the year. But let's start on the Dallas side of the ball. Joseph Randle had a big week this past week. Lance Dunbar had a big week. Which Dallas running back, if any of them, are you trying to play?
I don't know. When I think of the Dallas running back crew, I just think of the word Mongolian clusterfuck. What are you?
That's 2 to potentially 3 words, but that's fine.
Well, no, if you put a hashtag in front of them and you put them all together, it's 1.
All right, fine. Go ahead.
No, I mean, if I had to choose, I would still go with Joseph Randle. I mean, he's been the number 1 back for pretty much the most part since going into the season, even though they said that it wasn't too much of a difference between him and McFadden. Lance Dunbar does show some flair too, but if I had to play any of the running backs, it would still be Joseph Randle.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Randall's probably the guy. Don't expect what he did last week. If you're in a PPR league, I love Lance Dunbar. He's a guy I've been using heavily in PPR leagues this year, and it's worked out very well for me. McFadden, you can safely leave on your bench. Jason Witten, even with Brandon Weeden, is still a startable tight end, right?
I would start Jason Witten.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. And then the Cowboys wide receivers. Terrence Williams put up a good old 0 for us last week. Cole Beasley had a couple catches. I think Devin Street had a catch or 2. Any of those guys you want to play this week?
I think it's a battle between the 2 receiving cores on who's going to do worse.
I think you're right, dude.
I don't. There's no one to even think about playing for Cowboys receivers.
Yeah, I don't want to. The Saints secondary does suck, so if you need to play Terrence Williams, sure. But outside of that, just stop. Don't do it.
Just only Witten.
Yeah, basically Witten. He's your guy.
Yep.
For the Saints, it says Breeze is practicing. He is supposed to play this week. Are you going to start Breeze if you're a Breeze owner?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's no chance. You just can't do it based on how he's been playing. He's hurt. It's just not a good situation.
No.
And then with Breeze there, I know we have your boy Brandon Cooks, who Shrek and I discussed at length a little bit yesterday. I think you're still starting Cooks. Are there any other pass catchers that you like there?
No, I don't like any other pass catchers. Me and Cooks have we're not having the same relationship that we had the past 3 weeks. He doesn't answer my text messages. Then he starts performing even more poor. So then I decided not to answer his text messages. I don't know. Cooks, he still play, but I'm a little frustrated. But you still play him. I put him in my flex position for now. So he's weaning himself closer to the bench, but I still believe. So still play Cooks, but no one else.
Yeah, Shrek and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I think Cooks is he's established himself as a low wide receiver too. He's not the guy that we thought he was.
That's very fair.
And then on the New Orleans side as well, we have Mark Ingram, who I think is a pretty obvious star.
Yes.
Are you? Do you have anything else with their back? Tyree Robinson,
No.
CJ Spiller? No.
I wouldn't play Robinson or Spiller. Your only solid bet is just Mark Ingram, and he's a good play. So I would just only Ingram.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Don, who you got in this one?
Oh my God. I don't even want to pick. Let's go New Orleans, and I'm gonna hope for a Brandon Cooks to have a good week this week. So I'll go New
I'm gonna
Orleans.
go Dallas just to split the vote here. So I'll take Dallas. You'll have New Orleans. We'll have a laugh when the game is over, and about who was wrong and whatever. Anyway,
the negative points that both receiving cores put up.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of negative points from receiving cores. Geez, that's way worse of a Sunday night game than the NFL thought at the beginning of the year. Anyway, on to the Monday night game. We have Detroit at Seattle, which is also not a great game. And going along with that theme of not being a great game, do you want to play any Lions?
I think you still have to play Calvin Johnson. Aside from that, Golden Tate's been very underwhelming. But, yeah, you got to play Calvin Johnson. Not the Calvin Johnson season that you want, but still a better option than, anyone that you're going to throw on the flex. So Calvin Johnson, hope for the best. It's going against a tough Seattle defense. But it's Monday night, and you got to just stick to your guns with Calvin. Play him.
Yeah, I'm on Calvin as well. I think Ebron is an interesting tight end. He's been very solid this year. He's getting consistent targets, consistent catches, and the Seahawks have actually not been spectacular against tight ends so far. So,
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ebron as well. Other than that, you can't trust the Lions' backfield. Joique Bell looks like me. And that's about it.
That visionary will never leave my head.
I appreciate it. So on the Seattle side, you're playing Russell Wilson if you own him, most likely. The backfield is interesting because Marshawn is 50-50 to play. If you're a Marshawn owner, God, I hope you picked up Thomas Rawls because he is the handcuff here and not Fred Jackson. What do you think about Marshawn and then Rawls this week?
Kind of the same way you got to look at it with last week with Eddie Lacy and James Starks, right?
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Obviously, I like a James Starks better than Rawls, but if Marshawn's down, who do you think they're going to be feeding the ball to? So, they run the ball a lot. So, if you were, like you said, if you were smart and you picked up Rawls, I think that's the best thing you can do because obviously going into Monday night, especially if you don't know the status, you still want to be rolling with Marshawn Lynch. That's really it. Hopefully you have both of them so that you can still play Marshawn Lynch and hope he does play and hopefully he has a bounce back week. But if not, you could throw Rawls in there and still have running back one value because he's going to be, well, not running back, but one value fantasy wise, but he's going to be the starting back. So he's going to have some hope for some production.
Yeah, I think you're dead on there. So Graham sort of bounced back after this, or this week after complaining about it and kind of not being used very well in the offense. Do you trust him now? I think if you drafted him like that, you're starting him, right?
Yeah, I have to start him. It's way I mean, he really only had one bad fantasy week in week 2 against Green Bay, and that's for obvious reasons because Green Bay's awesome. But and Detroit's nowhere near a Green Bay, so yeah, you definitely have to start on Monday night. Jimmy Graham is 100% startable.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't want to start any Seahawks wide receivers. Do you have a differing opinion?
No, Doug Baldwin's were like really sweet. No, I don't want to start him.
No, yeah, it's not a good move. So stay away from that. I'm taking Seattle. Who you got?
Yeah, take that big broom out, sweep him again.
All right. So that does it for our week 4 preview. I hope you got through that. Hopefully Shrek edited that enough where like me dropping out and like my smoke detector going off in my apartment aren't necessarily in the podcast. That would be super nice. If they are, I apologize. We're gonna make our way through a couple reader questions, and then we're gonna call it a night. So first one is from Allison. Should I trade Amari Cooper for Jordan Matthews and Doug Martin? This would be a delicious deal on draft day. That's a nice alliteration there. A lot of D's. But I'm not so sure now. I wouldn't. What do you think, Don?
No, I like Amari Cooper a lot more than – well, not a lot more, but I like Amari Cooper better than Jordan Matthews, especially the way this whole Philly offense deal is going. And Doug Martin is just whatever. I mean, it's not someone that would put the cherry on the top there for you to make one a trade. So I would keep Amari Cooper. I like Amari Cooper better. Oakland's clicking right now. So younger guy with a whole lot of, I feel like a lot more ceiling. So I like Amari Cooper a lot more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would keep Amari Cooper. Doug Martin's a guy who like has to be owned, but you actually never want to start.
Right.
And Jordan Matthews is in, as of now, we'll see what happens in a couple weeks, but as of now, a bad offense. So yeah. I'm on the Amari Cooper train there. Mike asks us, week 4, Carlos Williams versus the Giants or Joseph Randle versus the Saints? Don, what do you think?
It's a good question. I'm going to go Carlos Williams against New York Giants, especially if LeSean McCoy is out. I go Carlos Williams.
Yeah, I'm going to go Carlos Williams as well. I think it's a great play against the Giants, and Carlos Williams is shown to be very good. Ryan asks us, would you trade Cobb and Audrey for Aaron Rodgers? My current QB is Eli, and I own Arian Foster. I would not.
I would need to know more of your roster. Because you have Arian Foster, again, he's still coming off that injury. You never know, but you're assuming that he's going to have a better year. But who's going to fill in your running back 2 slot? Cobb is a stud right now. So, I love Aaron Rodgers, but you could still find a serviceable quarterback. And I'll keep going back to like a Derek Carr. And then you could still have that value where you got Cobb going. And then if you lose Ivory, who else is your other running back? So, no, on this stance of the information that I know, I'm going to say no as well.
Yeah, I agree. Just in general, I hate trading for quarterbacks when you're giving up wide receivers and running backs. I think this is a case where you don't want to do it. From Toby, do you like Breeze against Dallas, at-home primetime game, or Carr in Chicago? Don, what do you think?
I think we've answered this through this podcast. Definitely Carr in Chicago.
Yeah, it's Carr. It's not close either.
No.
So Ryan asks us, rank for the rest of the season – Flacco, Bortles, Carr, and Fitzmagic. First of all, it's Fitzcoming.
It's Fitzcoming, yeah. That's all right. It's besides the point. Y'all gonna learn today. It's Fitzcoming.
All right, so if we get past that, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna say for me, it's Carr, Flacco, Bortles, Fitzcoming.
This is crazy. I'm going to go Carr. I'm going to go Bortles.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go Flacco, and then Fitzcoming.
I think that's fair. I also, not to poo-poo your question, Ryan, but I don't think it necessarily matters because for all of these guys, they're going to be streamers. So you're playing them week to week.
Yeah.
rest of the season ranking isn't necessarily like you don't need to carry any of them on your team. You can probably just pick them up from week to week based on their matchup. So our answers are what they are, but I think you'd be better served to just stream if that's an issue for you. So Jessica's question, this one is pretty cool. So yeah, Jessica says, okay, I'm a fantasy football rookie and the only girl in an all guys league. Awesome. Good for you, Jessica. That is sweet. She says, I just got my first trade proposal and I need advice. The guy wants to give me CJ Anderson, Giovanni Bernard, and Tyler Eifert for Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins. Should I make the trade? Don, I'm going to let you take this one to start.
Yeah, one, I just want to say that I just think it's so awesome that Jessica, who is the only girl in her all-guys league and is a fantasy football rookie, is listening to us and asking us for advice. I think that's just awesome, one. So thank you, Jessica, for listening and following our site. That's awesome. As for the trade, I don't think it's that they're offering a bad trade to you. I think they're trying to offer you a lot of pieces. But I still keep Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins. CJ Anderson is one who knows with, he went out last game. He hasn't been performing beforehand. You got to worry about the whole committee between Gio Bernard and Jeremy Hill, even though Gio Bernard is playing. And, Tyler Eifert, he's a good tight end for Bengals, but I like Travis Kelce better overall, as well as DeAndre Hopkins. So I just think it's better for you to keep those two for those three that are all kind of questionable.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. CJ Anderson and Giovanni Bernard are pretty questionable. Tyler Eifert is good, but Travis Kelce's better, and Hopkins is a great wide receiver. So I would not do the trade. Some of it depends on your needs at other positions. Like if you're running back desperate, then it's probably an okay trade to make. But right now, I'd say no.
Yep.
And then last question from Ryan. I feel like this got snuck into our outline like while we were doing this podcast because I don't remember this from before.
I don't remember looking at it either.
I think Shrek literally came into the outline and put this question in while we were recording. So this is from Ryan. Ryan says it's a full PPR league. He's got 2 running back spots to fill between Ivory, Forsett, Jonathan Stewart, Carlos Williams, and Lance Dunbar. I am going Carlos Williams and Justin Forsett. Don, what do you think?
Full point PPR makes things a little bit differently. Wow, you're going to go Justin Forsett over Lance Dunbar on your PPR?
Yeah, extremely close for me, but I think I'll go Forsett.
I'm big on Carlos Williams this year, this week, so I'm going to go Carlos Williams. And I'm actually going to go with Jay Stewie. I'm going to go Jonathan Stewart. I think he's going to have a bounce back week against Tampa Bay, and he's going to actually have a really good week. So I'm going to go with those 2 guys, Carlos Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Fair
enough. I think that's fair. So again, I hope this podcast didn't get ruined by my terrible internet and the fire alarm going off in my apartment. But
if it did, at least I got to sing to you.
That's true. That's very true. Hopefully Shrek did a really good job editing this, so you don't have to listen to a bunch of bullshit while we figured out, what was the situation with my internet and my fire alarm. If not, then I apologize. If so, maybe I still apologize because our fantasy advice is what it is. But maybe we'll have to apologize for that in a couple of days. I'm not really sure.
Regression is so fucking real,
dude. It's the fucking realest. Anyway, for Let's Talk Fantasy Football, I am Nick Walsh. This has been me with the DON, Don Chrisman. Woo! And we'll catch you later.